The book I read is titled Differentiated Instruction: Meeting the Educational Needs of All Students in Your Classroom. It is written by Marcy Nordland. A quick summary of the book is that it provides insightful information about how to work with students in the same classroom with diverse learning needs. It also points out the three methods and examples of differentiated instruction for any curricular area: modifying the content, the process of learning, and the end product. The book dedicates a chapter that explains and provides different strategies and ideas on how to work with the following types of learners discussed later in order to differentiate the educational needs of all the students. Its underlying theme is regarding the implementation of strategies which pre-K through 12 teachers can use in their classroom to make appropriate accommodations and modifications to provide support for their students, whether they are SPED students, ELL students, and students in general. Throughout her book, Nordland explains the following 10 rules to implement in the classroom to provide effective instruction for all students. Number 1, always remember the purpose of instruction. 2, always begin with success. 3, the classroom teacher is the expert in the curriculum. The special education teacher is the expert in the special methods. 4, always remember the purpose of assessment. 5, use baby steps. 6, the older the child, the bigger the gap. 7, always begin with the end in mind. 8, the more disorganized the child is internally, the more structured the learning environment must be. 9, visual cues are easier to remove than verbal cues. And 10, develop a relationship. The types of learners discussed in this book are students with cognitive impairments, children with difficulties attending to tasks, students with learning disabilities, and students identified as slow learners, children whose native language is not English, children above average abilities, and students at risk of school failure. The last two chapters discussed in this book are classroom management and bringing the staff together. And it talks about how these two areas can also help with differentiating the instruction of these types of learners. The key points that I learned from the book is 3 methods of differentiated instruction for any curricular area, which are the modifying the content, the process of learning, and the end product. Modifying the content, classroom teacher decides the core concept student must master. During the process of learning can be done by varying the activities and strategies for teaching the concept needed to master by the student. And the product could be tests, projects, written, work, oral, presentation to make lessons meaningful and applicable for the students. Remembering rule number 3, the classroom teacher is the expert in the curriculum, while the special education teacher or any other special teacher is the expert in the special methods. With that, I am going to talk about how I, as an ELL teacher, collaborate with second grade classroom teacher to plan for reading instruction. The type of support that I give is inclusion during our reading instruction. Over 50% of her class are ELL students. Once a week, usually on a Friday, we co-plan, look at our data and assessments given throughout the week to guide our instruction and plan for our small group reading instruction. Nordland 2003 mentioned the importance of sharing the stages of second language acquisition with classroom teachers who have ELL students. On page 52 of the book, the author shares a table on the stages of second language acquisition and provides the characteristics of each stage and strategies that can be implemented. I use this during our grade level meetings that we have once a month to share with the classroom teachers. Other topics I shared with our grade level meetings was language transfers handbook, cognates, and how we can implement a vocabulary strategy using this curriculum to differentiate learning. Other strategies mentioned in the book were visuals, manipulatives, posters, anchor charts, picture cards, graphic organizers, cognates, cooperative learning, differentiated literacy stations, and native language support. I will talk about it and how we implemented some of these strategies during our next slides, which are during our literacy stations. So here you see a phonics station, so that the student is working on differentiated depending on the skills. Here is the student is we're working on with the vocabulary quilt. It's words from the text. And keeping in mind prior knowledge, what do they know about the words, connecting to the new learnings, and affirmation, what did they learn about the words. Here, we differentiated by making sure we provide graphic organizers for the students to complete when working with the comprehension skills of the text. In this literacy station, the student is reading at her level. Then we have the teacher centers. The classroom teachers is working with a group of students here, and she sees 3 groups and I see 2 groups, and I work with ELL students who are struggling readers or needing the native language support. We both scaffold our instruction depending on their needs. I scaffold it according to if they need cognates or any other strategies. Staff working together is important in order to differentiate instruction to meet the needs of all students. Collaboration between teachers, the classroom teachers, the EL teachers, reading tutors, and even the school support monitor is important in meeting the needs in all students in each classroom.